Hey guys, it's Graham. Welcome back to Truckerman Reads. I have a book coming out in 3 weeks. I want to tell you about it so that you can get excited about it and you can pre order it when the pre order page goes live on October 15th. The novel is Fossil Force. It is a boys' adventure novel from Raconteur Press. It's about 50,000 words long. I broke it up into 12 different chapters. Main character is a kid named Patrick Keller. He and his family have to move from Salt Lake City to a very small town, sort of based on Moab, Utah, called Vina Profunda. I made up a fictional town, even though there are a lot of really cool towns in the rural parts of the state of Utah. I decided I needed to make one up that kind of fit the mold for everything I wanted this story to be. He's not excited about having to move there, as one might guess, but out of the three kids in his family, he tries to be the upbeat and positive one, even though he's the youngest. His older brother and older sister are complaining a lot about the move because, hey, they're teenagers, they have social lives, and this isn't convenient for them. But they have to move because of financial hardship. Their dad got hit by a car several years ago. He's somewhat paralyzed, and their family is out of money, and they got to move in with Patrick's grandpa in Vina Profunda. And so he's trying to keep his chin up and be the good kid, be the happy kid, stay out of trouble, be helpful to his parents. You know, the kind of happy-go-lucky, thumbs-up type stuff you'd want a kid to be. But he does find himself quickly embroiled in a bit of a local mystery. He makes friends with a couple of other kids, Tyler, Howie, and Steve, and they tell him about something of a local legend tied in with local Native American lore. I made up a fictional tribe just because I get why Native American tribes are very possessive and protective of their own lore and their own history. And I was like, well, the quickest way to piss off any particular tribe would be to make up a story about them and get the details wrong. So why don't I just make up a tribe and then I can't possibly be wrong? So this tribe, they go by two different names. They're either the Alapayutes or the Terranos. And they have a reservation right next to Vina Profunda. And one of the kids, Steve, is a member of this Alapayute nation. And so he's got more of a detailed and intricate knowledge of the lore. The mystery is that there is secretly, somewhere in Vina Profunda, a gate to what you might call the Hollow Earth. There are deep Earth cities that float in bubbles in the magma that are thousands of years old. And, the other kids in this group have started to collect evidence that these cities are real. And they're looking for a couple of missing pieces, and if they find them, then they can find the gate and they can get down to these deep Earth cities. And they believe that one of the missing pieces that they're looking for is in Patrick's grandpa's barn. And Patrick, without knowing what it is, stumbles upon it his first day there and starts to get really, really curious. I mentioned in the piece that Raconteur Press wrote, they published a piece that I wrote explaining where I came up with the idea for this, where it was kind of a convergence of a bunch of things. When I was a little kid, I was a huge fan of Power Rangers. I was in that kind of brain-melting target age at 8 years old when it came over here to the States, and I was like, cool, teenagers that get superpowers and they drive giant dinosaur-shaped mechas and they fight bad guys that there's no blood, they just shoot them and they explode. Like, I was big into that. And then when I was in middle school, I got big into Animorphs, which was about a bunch of kids having to stealthily fend off an alien invasion of body-snatching slugs. They could look like anybody, but an alien gives them the power to morph into any animal that they can touch. That consumed my entire life for like 4 years. I was riding my bike to the mall in the Las Vegas summertime heat once a month to go buy my next Animorphs book. Like, I was hooked on it. I wanted to capture that same sense of wonder, and I was relying on some elements of the world building. In this sense, the pieces that these kids are looking for to find the gate to the deep Earth are power armors. Like ancient Indian power armors. Not really Indian, there's a different explanation for it, but the Alapayute tribe is aware of this, and it's a closely guarded secret. Well, why is the Alapayute kid helping him find it? There's a reason for that in the story, but these ancient power armors can derive different abilities from different ores and minerals and rocks that they can touch. But the most potent source of energy for them is fossils. things that used to be alive and then became stone can give them very special powers and attributes. And in this sense, they can absorb energy from fossil prints, and there are fossils all throughout the area here, and they can get special powers for the armors. But there are, as one might expect, bad guys who also have these ancient power armors, and they are also looking for a gate to the deep earth, but they have a very nefarious reason for doing so. There are government agents in town snooping around, trying to snoop around the farm and find things, but they're not telling Patrick and his family why. And so, Patrick's got some things to juggle. The family dynamic, this new adventure that he's on with his friends, and the new trouble from these other power armor operators that want what they think he has. I also cited the song Laser Shooting Dinosaur by Angus McSix as part of the inspiration for it. Not necessarily for the story itself, but for the overall tone of it. Angus McSix, is a Euro metal band fronted by, well, up until recently, I think he's taken a break because he had a kid, Thomas Winkler. He's a Swiss musician. The guy also has a law degree from the University of Bern, so they just do things differently over there in Switzerland. But he was the frontman for a metal group called Glory Hammer for about a decade, and then the band kind of unceremoniously kicked him out through an email, and he decided that he was going to put together a different band with cast-offs from other Euro metal groups on the same label, and they put together this album called Angus McSix and the Sword of Power, I think is what it was called. And one of the tracks on there, it's like the whole album is a story of some fictional hero named Angus McSix who just rides around the universe killing goblins. And one of the songs is he's got a laser shooting cyborg dinosaur built by cavemen scientists in Japan using metal from the moon. Like, it's completely bonkers, but like it's so awesome. Like, it breaks off fantasy. It's like, wouldn't this be cool? Let's write a cool song about it. Let's just go bonkers and have fun. And especially if you want to write stories that you want kids to read, and above all, like, boys to read, because boys by and large don't read, you've got to remember that. Like, don't bore a kid with literature and lectures and whatever. Give him something so awesome that he wants to read it. That was what Harry Potter did 30 years ago. It got young boys to read because it took school and made it into something that they would actually want to go to. For me, I'm not writing so many stories, in this book about, hey, Patrick goes to school and he learns this. Like, school's there, but the cool part is, him having something to do with his friends. And there's a learning element to it. The kid Howie in their group is the hyper-literate one who reads a lot of books from guys like Graham Hancock and David Weatherly, and he uses them to kind of round out his theses, his hypotheses about the deep earth cities and the gate in Vina Profunda and all of that. You've got to fuel a kid's imagination. Books are often more boring than what a kid has going on in his own imagination. So there's a lot to keep up with. You got to push that train down the hill and take the brakes off. And I like to think that I put enough of those crazy, explosive, cinematic, imaginative elements into this book that could, keep a young mind entertained and also give them some things to chew on the nonfiction side. A lot of the elements that I worked in there, I made up a fictional tribe, but there are a lot of things in there that are true. And if you would buy this book for your kid and then you read it together, you guys could parse all that stuff out. But my favorite chapter of the book is the 11th one. It's kind of the climax that you're building up to, but I make sure to have plenty of like moments of mystery and intrigue and action well before that. The test audience for this was my own sons, because they're in that age group that the book is aimed at. And, you kind of trust your kids to say, hey, Dad, we encourage you. It's cool that you're writing a book, whatever. But you also got to kind of understand that your kids might glaze you a little bit and be like, oh, yeah, Dad, that book that you read us was great. What was it about? I don't know. But, hey, it's cool that you did it. Like for weeks after I read it to my son, like he would just randomly walk up to me and ask me about it or tell me what his favorite part was. And this is cool, that's cool. Like I've caught him hyping it up to his friends unbidden. And this is my son who, without divulging too much, let me just say that like he wouldn't do that if he wasn't really hyped on it. And I thought, okay, I'm going to dare to think here that maybe I've actually got something, but I won't know until it comes out in a couple of weeks. It goes live for pre-order on the 15th. Like I said, the release date is the 29th. Raconteur does their releases on Wednesdays. And I'm not really nervous. I'm stoked. I'm not worried about what people will think about it. I think if they actually read it, it'll do its job. I just hope that they read it. Raconteur has a great job or does a great job of getting people to actually, buy books on launch day. But I want to know the feedback. I want to know the response to it. I want to know what people think. And so hopefully I've described enough of the most intriguing elements without giving stuff away. But there is obviously going to be a giant mecha battle between the good guys and the bad guys in the bottom of a wash filled with dinosaur fossils. So there's all kinds of cool stuff that can happen. If anything, I was kind of limited by the word count ceiling. The Raconteur doesn't want their boy books to go over 50K. I got the first draft to 48, and I was only able to get the second draft down to like 47. I wasn't able to trim much without really getting into the muscle of it. So this is a pretty lean book, and things move as they need to. We'll see how the first book goes. I've already got ideas for a sequel, and you can guess what some of those ideas are when you get to the end of the final chapter. Working title for book 2 is Fossil Force Deep Trouble. But I won't look too far beyond the mark here. We got to see how this first book does. So keep an eye out for a week from now, and I'm sure I'll do other videos about this as we get closer to it. But get hyped for Fossil Force by Graham Bradley, coming out on October 29th of this year. Drive safe. See you out there.